I know you tired of all the pain. And I know you tired of all the lies. Baby, it's time to let them go. Let me kiss the pain away. Let's go.
Good morning, sunshines. Good morning, Mr. Milhouse. Can't hear. Good morning, Mr. Milhouse.
Good morning.
Oh, there's that voice
morning,
that you all love. He trying to take my job. I'm about to lose my job. Good morning, nephew.
Good morning, TT.
You have your uncle and your TT in here
What
together.
up, Good morning.
Good morning, sunshines. It's the same Dawn, same OG, but a brand new day in the page of the page in the Book of Dawn. I am your host, Dawn Milhouse. The Book of Dawn, weekdays 9 a.m. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your bathrooms and your workstations and wherever you're watching from. Facebook, share, tell a friend. You see the engineer over here touching the stuff. Maze.
Just making sure we're safe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because if it falls over. Insurance claim. I'm going to roll out the building. Yes, weekdays 9 a.m. right here on What's in It for the Black People Media. Share, tell a friend. YouTube as well. And I saw a flyer last week. We're on Twitcher and Switcher and some stuff I never heard of. I'm like,
Twitch.
Is that what's called? Twitch. Okay. That's what when you say Twitch. Yeah, I thought that was like a Tourette's or something. You know, I don't know. Y'all got me figuring out Clubhouse. I can't do it all. Too many apps. We need a what's that when one person buys all the stuff, Mr. Milhouse, and it becomes like a
monopoly.
Yeah, like AT&T and stuff when they all we need illegal. Yeah, we need to do that with all the apps. Just house them in one place. Anyway, I digress. Let's get down to business. Milhouse Monday, the last Monday of every month. Today is March 29th. Our guest host is, of course, Mr. Wilbur C. Milhouse, President and Chairman and CEO of Milhouse Engineering and Construction. I'm sorry, Chairman. Chairman's under the press? Chairman. He's the chairman. Let's speak that. He's the chairman and the CEO. Never mind. Of Milhouse Engineering and Construction and the family of companies. Our special guest today is a Navy veteran, South Sider. Let's be clear. I'm going to let y'all tell him how many children he has and how long he's been married. Every time I see him and his wife, I say, they're my idols. Like, you talk about black love, they should be on one of Oprah's shows, like in real life. His name is Jermaine Davis. He's a senior executive with American Tower. And Mr. Milhouse is going to talk to him about family and business and legacy and all the good stuff that we talk about on Monday. It's the last Monday of every month. Remember, if you have a great idea, if you have questions, if you need help executing your ideas, great ideas at milhouseinc.com. There is a live person, not in the States, right here in Chicago, as a matter of fact, waiting for those emails. So I know that you said you were going to do it when we started this, and you may not have, but it's never too late. You always have a great idea. And, I'm just saying, can I email or no? Can I send it?
If you haven't told me already.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that part. Okay. All right. The weather, I'm going to do the weather for Mary Q. This is your weather review by Mary Q. On today, the better spot. No, I'm just kidding. Today, it's currently 34 degrees with a high of 61 and sunny with zilcho% of precipitation. What did she say at the end? It's a darn good day to get outside without a jacket. And this is your weather by Mary Q.
Mary Q.
Mary Q. That's Mary Q. That's the third. That's the third to the two. That's a third, and she the other third.
Got it.
Yeah.
She in the comments right now.
Okay, cool.
Mary.
Yes. Good morning, Mary. She said, Dawn, we have to get some drums. We do need drums. Yes, thank you. Listen, it's over the weekend, so I got some birthdays, and I'm going to go through them as fast as I can, but I don't want to get tongue-tied because Rick Party might be watching and judging me, okay? Happy birthday, Andre, Henry, Willa Murphy. You know who Willa Murphy is? I'm WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, right? Willa Murphy is my daddy's baby's mama, is T's mother. Happy birthday. So she's something like other mother or something like that. Maybe not that. Anyway, Imani Dixon Tim Gant, Jared Matthews, Will Howard, Detriel Petit, that's my cousin, Diane Howard, Marty Embry, DePaul alumni, Sanji Palmer, Anthony Brown, Barry Tunstill, Chris Calloway, NFL player retired from Chicago. Congratulations to London Holmes and Summer Walker on the birth of their baby on London's birthday 2 days ago. I don't know the baby's real name, but they're calling her
It's a baby girl.
yeah, it's a baby girl, and they calling her Princess Bubblegum. I'm worried about that. So I'm gonna just say happy birthday and happy welcome to the world, Princess. Also, happy birthday to Justin White, Patrick and Pat's baby. I was about to say Patrick and P's baby. Happy birthday, Justin. If you did not hear your name, that means you didn't email me. Lady Milhouse 1L at Gmail. Don't let them autocorrect you. But happy birthday from the Book of Dawn. We love you and we appreciate you. And thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Today, yesterday technically started Holy Week. And I'm not talking about holy socks. I'm talking about, come on now. Come on, church, Mr. Alvin. This is the start of Holy Week, okay? We're going into Easter, and Easter really, 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 I know you about to go shop and spend the stimmies and buy the kids new clothes. That is not what Easter is for, amen. I want them to look cute. Easter Bunny will be coming to my house. He comes to my house, just so you know. I will send pictures next week. Easter Bunny's actually dope and can dance. But it's the beginning of Holy Week. Today, I thought it was interesting that it is National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day. Mom and pop businesses can end up being corporations. And so I thought it was so fitting that that happened today. Thought that was pretty cool. So if you know a mom and pop business, support them today and hashtag that. You know, go and put your money where your mouth is. Go over there and support the peoples, okay? And then the lines where I'm trying to go might be a little shorter. Anyway, private joke. It's also Smoke and Mirrors Day. I'm not going to shoot any guns, no shots fired this early. It's a Monday. I'm going to carry Smoke and Mirrors Day over to tomorrow. Okay? Cool with that?
So what does Smoke and Mirrors Day consist of?
Oh, do you know what Smoke and Mirrors means?
Yeah, it's like lies and deception, right?
Oh, well, you said it. I didn't. Thank you. It's also Vietnam War Veterans Day. And so, yes, if you know a war veteran, I mean, salute. Thank you. Thank you. So that we could actually sit here and, you know, and partake in the you digs. I guess let me see if our Mr. Milhouse, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
You are?
Fantastic.
I thought you was gonna say it like you was a church. It's like blessed and highly favored. and I have, you know what I thought about when I just ran to the bathroom? You know how I always tease people about saying the COVID? So what happened when I went in the bathroom? I think I understand why they say the COVID. So I might not talk about them as bad.
So why do you think you understand?
Because if you say I got flu without saying the flu, I'm going to talk about you. If you say I got mumps or I have measles.
But you say I have a cold, not the cold.
Right, but it seems like the pandemic stuff is where they put the. Except for HIV. Because you wouldn't say I have the HIV. You'd say I have HIV.
So why they call it the Walmart?
Because them Walmart people. There's no, I can't help you there. But that's a good point.
But you always say I'm going to the club.
Yeah, you say, you do say the, because Walmart is a club.
Walmart's like a club.
Especially Country Club Hills Walmart.
Absolutely.
You been to that one, nephew?
No, it must be buzzing. You tell the club. It's like you going to the club.
Dead
They be
serious.
in there. In the club.
The fact that I can see the visual when you say that is more than enough. I have to behave myself because when we're not talking about business, you know, we're a little extra in this one. But you keep talking. I'm gonna pop Jermaine in, okay. And you go ahead and talk to nephew. Okay, they want to hear your voice anyway. They love your voice.
Do you know how to do it? You got it.
Oh yeah, I got
All
it.
right, okay.
You talk to your uncle.
What's going on, Unc?
I'm good. How you doing? You gonna keep her under control this week?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Please,
Yeah.
please. You know, she needs all the support she can.
Got a nice lineup for the week.
What we got coming up this week?
We got Behind the Brown Doors tomorrow. And what's the name? Tight. I don't want to.
Tiabe.
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 Hard to pronounce, but we're gonna play some new music from Tiabe today.
Nice. You can play it today or you can play it tomorrow?
Should we tease it today?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What else you got coming up this week?
Rolling out some more new music. Actually, Ryan Ashley is in at the end of the week with
Ryan Ashley.
the fitness guru. We got
My
the fitness
daughter.
guru.
Michaela.
Should I do the
Batman
pan?
herself.
I should do the pan, right?
Yeah. She working it out over there.
She clicking away.
Producing.
Yeah, man. That's what I do, man.
That's what I do.
Okay.
You want me to help you?
There's JD. Wow. Booyah. Well, look at there.
JD, did you make it on?
Jermaine, can you hear us? Good morning.
Make sure you got them unmuted and stuff.
Mute. Good morning, Jermaine. I see him, but and you're gonna see him in a second. I don't know that I can hear him. JD, turn your Jermaine, turn your volume on. Can't hear him.
He has to unmute his mic.
Yeah, unmute your mic if you can hear me. Wave your hand if you can hear me. Put your hands in the air and wave them. Okay, good. You can hear me. Unmute your mic. Give your system permissions for your audio. While he's doing that, I'll give you a word of the day. How about that?
Let's do that.
How about that? The word of the day comes from the late 16th century and is an adjective. The word is notional. It is spelled N-O-T-I-O-N-A-L. Notional, like national with an O. It has two meanings. The first meaning is existing in theory or as a suggestion or idea. The second meaning is existing only in the imagination. Ha! I would like to rock with the second one. Okay? So, used in a sentence, definition, existing only in the imagination. Well,
Nephew Ron was in a notional relationship with Lisa Ray.
the notional relationship of this. Nephew Ron just found out that I know Lisa Ray, like 2 days ago. I'm like, hey, you didn't know that?
Big childhood crush.
Guess you haven't necessarily talked about it a whole lot.
Yeah, but I would just think that he would have thought that he'd have thought that he thunk it. Maybe this is not notional. Maybe this is the first definition. We ready? I'm Oprah. I'm Oprah. I'm better than Gail, so I got to be Oprah. So I'll figure out a sentence for that because that's just a theory that I'm throwing out there. It's not in my imagination. Yeah. But like Janet Jackson in the Jackson family are my family. That's notional. Yeah, that's in my head. But they technically are my family. But never mind.
I know you believe it.
Jermaine, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
All right.
We can't.
You're a little low, but we can hear you.
Good morning, Jermaine. Jermaine Davis. Jermaine L. Davis is a speaker and senior executive with American Tower Corporation, where he is currently serving as the Director, Site Development Central. His background is in the United States Navy, and he has over 20 years. That's 2 decades, so we know he's not 25 in telecommunications. He enjoys presenting and has presented motivational and inspirational keynotes at schools, drug rehabilitation facilities, correctional facilities, and is working to empower and develop challenged teens and adults. Jermaine is a Chicagoan. He's one of our own, so we're going to test him and see if he's so shy. But We're going to start with Jermaine saying, welcome to the Book of Dawn. Thank you for your time and sharing your story with us this morning. On the last Monday of every month, we get down to business. And so I think we'll kick off with Mr. Milhouse starting the round of questions. And I want you to be comfortable and candid. And if any of your peers or constituents are watching, be careful not to say what you wouldn't say at work.
Fantastic. Welcome, Jermaine. How are you?
Very good.
Good deal.
Thank
Good
you for
deal.
having me on the platform.
Perfect. So why don't you just get into, a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and talk a little bit about how you matriculated into the service, so forth.
Sure, sure. I grew up in Chicago, as Dawn stated, and typical Chicago kid. Grew up on the south side of Chicago. My family, we moved around a lot, right, throughout Chicago, and I ended up in my teenage years on the south side of Chicago, and hit some roadblocks along the way, and had to come to a determination at some point regarding the direction of my life and where I wanted to go. And I grew up as a church boy in a church home, right? And they say those are the worst kids, so to speak. and so my environment was very controlled. I didn't like control, like many of our youth today. And I found myself in the street gangs, involved in selling drugs at an early age, and then homeless. So a lot of things happened before or by the time I was 18 in my life. What I call defining moments, and at some point, right after high school, I joined the United States Navy, and that's all she wrote. And it went.
So why the Navy? I mean, did someone just say you should join the Navy, or did you just see a commercial? Why did you choose the Navy?
Good question. I don't like to get dirty, right? So the Marine Corps and the Army, they get dirty, and I never like to do that. So it was either the Navy or the Air Force. So I had a cousin in the Navy, and so he had some experience there. So I joined the United States Navy, and it was the best thing I had done at that time. It was the best thing that I could have ever done. I've been to college. I have an education. But I always say that the military and the streets of Chicago are what gave me my education.
I would have to say amen to that. Jermaine, can you turn your volume up just a little? Some people are having difficulty hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Ron, is that better? A little bit more if you can.
Is that better?
Is it that, or should he speak more direct into the mic? Yeah, try maybe speaking more, like bring your mic a little bit more forward if you can.
Okay, is that better?
I think so. That's perfect. Yes. Yep.
All right.
All right, you can continue.
Got to make sure
Just
that you
wanted to
catch all of this. So,
Yeah, I'm getting text messages from Frank Martin. Like, tell him to turn his mic up.
another one down there in Atlanta. So went into the Navy because you didn't like to get dirty. And how did the Navy experience go for you?
Well, when I got into the service, a kid coming from Chicago, I got to say I wasn't very cultured. I wasn't, And when I got to the service, I found people who lived and breathed just like me. They were different than me. They had different colors. They had to come from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds. And coming out of Chicago and being in the street gangs, you just associated with who kind of aligned with you. And so coming into that world, I was able to see people from a different aspect. So I met all different types of people from different cultures. And what I began to do is take advantage of the opportunities that were before me, right? And so the Navy offered education. They offered college tuition, and they offered all these things. So I began to just take advantage of everything that came my way, and I engulfed myself in what I call self-improvement. And and here I am today. You know.
Got you, got you. So after you got out the service, then what was your next steps as far as a career?
You know, while I was in the service, you know, and when I had a chance to focus and really look at my life, you know, and decide where I wanted to go, there were two things I wanted to do. As a child, I remember, you know, looking when planes would fly over in the air. I would look at the planes and I would wonder where they were going. And I always said that whatever I do when I become an adult, I just want to be a businessman, you know, and I just want to fly to different places and conduct business. And so when coming out of the service, you know, it's a powerful story. Coming out of the service, I had gotten married. My son was 6 months old. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And my wife and I, we ended up moving with her in-laws. And then, you know, so I was on unemployment and we were in a beach switch there, but I would never forget, there was an African-American man at the unemployment office. He says, Jermaine, he says, do you know how to take pictures? Like, wow, this guy, maybe he's trying to get me on the side here. I'm just going to be honest with you, right? So I said, I can take pictures. I've done modeling in the Navy, but I won't get into the chain and whip type thing, right? I know this is a radio show. And he said, no, this has nothing to do with chains and whips. This is all telephones. And I don't think he really knew what he was talking about. But I gave him my resume, and I'll never forget, I was getting an interview on the phone with my son on my lap. And I interviewed for my career and what I have today. My son is 23 years old, my oldest son. And I got into this industry, and I grabbed the bull by its horn. Just like I did when I got in the United States Navy, I learned everything I could about this industry that I'm in. And the industry that I'm in is we build cell towers. We build cell towers, and we sell that space on the towers to carriers like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. And I got into this industry and learned everything I could. And I'm glad you're asking me about this. It's because as African-American men in corporate America, we have to challenge ourselves, right? And I talk to people a lot about going left, right? I'm right-handed. I have a son that plays basketball. He's a dominant right, but he goes left a lot, right? And so I think about that in life. And me coming out of Chicago with a really bad socioeconomic background, in the sense that I was in the gangs, I was selling drugs, I was very non-focused. I needed to go left. I needed to find a way to shift my paradigm and get out of my comfort zone. And so when you ask what the Navy did for me, it took me out of my comfort zone. I was very comfortable in Roseland on Michigan and 115th doing what I was doing. I was very comfortable on 111th and Outgale Gardens and Henry Horner's. I was comfortable in that environment. But when I went left and got away from my friends at that time and got away from my associates, I learned that you can make money other ways. You can make money by challenging your mind. And really, when you make money this way, you don't have to look behind your back, you know? So really what I've done throughout my life, I've always tried to travel down the uncharted path. I like to go off the unbeaten road to go where others have not gone. Sorry
Gotcha.
for going on a tangent there, Wilbur.
No, not at all, not at all. So
All right.
No, actually, that was very good. I'm over here taking notes. Jermaine, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back. We're going to get a lot deeper into this story. He was modest, not sharing with you what he achieved while he was in the Navy, and I think it's important to highlight, but we're going to do that. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. Tell your friends. If you got a knucklehead son, get him on the book. Okay, he already on the Facebook. Tell him to just go to the other side of it. We'll be right back. It's the Book of Dawn.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. MVP. Media's just for you and me.
Everybody's talking about the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. Place your order today for a delicious meal. The chicken and fish are fried to perfection, featuring a wide variety of catfish, perch, tilapia, whiting, and shrimp. Now it's your turn to see what everybody's talking about. It's the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, Chicago's newest spot for delicious meals. Stop by at 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop, or get contactless delivery from DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. For more info, call 773-807-9010, 773-807-9010. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish is open just in time for lunch, or take it to the house for a delicious dinner. It's Chicago's new spot for perfectly fried chicken and fish. Don't wait any longer. Try it today. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
I don't know what you did, but you did it right. Girl, you make it look so easy. Everywhere you go, heads turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20 piece. Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on. Why you gotta look so good, good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on, girl. Why you gotta look so good? I can look and see you're not an average chick. You're shutting it down everywhere you go. Girl, I want you as bad as I want a check. Cause you're sexy from head to toe. Girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me all that you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put your grown on. It's something about you when you put your grown on. Oh, when you're waking up straight out of bed, girl, why you gotta look so good? Oh, when you're at the job, just
Why I gotta look so good? Here come the beat. Why I gotta look so good, 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 good. Hey, girl, you know you be killing it. Welcome back. Slick. Good morning, Slick and Ben One. I'm not sure. The remix will be when I figure out the answer to that question, but thanks for sharing that anyway. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. I see some of y'all tag some of them nephews. I appreciate it. Not my nephew. Y'all's bad nephews, because mine is working right now.
I'm Gucci.
Well, you could be prouder. I'd be proud of you. Never mind. Anyway, that's millennial talk. Welcome back. You tuned into the Book of Dawn. Special guest on Let's Get Down to Business Monday is Jermaine L. Davis. Jermaine, I wanted to highlight before Wilbur continues with your interview. You were modest, and I think it's worth saying out loud. So while serving in the United States Navy for 5 years, you achieved 2 Navy Achievement Medals, 1 National Defense Medal for services in Desert Storm. Thank you for your service. 1 Sea Service Deployment Medal and 1 Good Conduct Medal. There are many people that go to the Navy for a various number of reasons, to get college funding, but you actually went to the Navy, did the Navy, and came home and did your country proud. And I wanted to make certain that I shared that with our viewers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Big
your
stuff.
service, sir.
Big stuff.
I'll say something to that. Everything that an individual does, you have to do it to the fullest. And so if they've got awards out there that you can get, it's not about being seen or acknowledgement in front of people. A lot of things that I've done in life, it's about me proving to myself that I can do it, and that's what that was all about. So I'm really thankful that you were able to acknowledge that. And then again, I am a little modest when it comes to talking about success, in the sense that I think that success is a journey, right? And there's always something more to do, right? I think even the individual sitting next to you, Mr. Wilbur Milhouse, told me before, something like that. Whenever you reach one goal, there's always another mountain or peak to hit, and so it never ends. And so what I do is I try to make accomplishments and reach those goals and objectives, and then I move on to the next. I don't forget, but I move on to the next. So thank you for your acknowledgement of my service.
So speaking of accomplishments, obviously, JD or Jermaine, you have done very well at your current position, your director. Why don't you tell me about articulating in the business world, moving up the ladder, and how that went, and giving some advice for those who are in corporate America and how to manage those different things, especially managing relationships, managing how to advance, career moves, moving to different states, so forth.
Yes, I think that's a great question, and I'll segue into that by saying that, listen, as an African American male, as a black man coming into corporate America, the first thing that you have to let go is the chip on your shoulder. You gotta let it go, and the reason why is because I realized on the streets of Chicago, my chip on my shoulder got me into a lot of trouble, right? And I had to learn how to be a man, right? And sometimes being a man is knowing when to hold and knowing when to fold. And you have to use that same aspect in corporate America, right? And you got to know when you are losing today to win the bigger battle, right? And I think African American males out of the gate, we always want to win, and we have this chip on our shoulder. So what I did coming into corporate America was I learned that, and Wilbur, you talked with me about this. We talked before. I've learned that you must have a work ethic, because when you start a journey, things may be going well for you, right? But as you get into that journey, and you've ever gone for a walk, you get up in the morning, you say, I'm going to go for a walk. And you start that walk, and you're feeling well. But as you walk, your legs begin to hurt. Your breathing is labored. That's not the time to stop. You have to keep going. And I think what happens to African American men, young men and older men in the workplace, when they hit that bump, when somebody says something to them out of place, they lose their cool. And they don't know how to shift their paradigm and go left. And that's where we get caught up a lot. So the first thing I learned how to do was keep my temper in check, right? And learn that words and education and sticking to the facts is what can get you to where you need to go. Because nobody can argue with the facts. And you must understand who you are, right? So I've always had a deep sense of self. It doesn't matter what the other individual has or does not have. You must understand who you are and what you are. When you understand who you are and what you are, and what I call your tags, your talents, your abilities, your gifts, your skills, then you become great in that, right? We were taught, many of us, as growing up in African American homes, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, be a fireman, be a policeman, be a teacher. Well, what you need to be is what you're here to be, right? Be great in what you're here to be. Some people speak very well. My real gift is not my ability to retain knowledge and what I do in aspects of what I do aptitudinally every day with work. It's really my gift to communicate. I had a teacher when I was in high school. Her name is Mrs. Rosa Sales from Carver Area High School. And frankly, I would cut her class. And one day she caught me in the hallway and brought me into the classroom. And she says, Jermaine, you are going to participate in the vocational industrial clubs of America, and you are going to speak. And I said, no, I'm not. She says, you are, right? Well, since the trip involved going to a hotel, right, and I like that kind of stuff back in that day. And so I went on the trip, and I'll never forget, she made me sit in her hotel room and write the speech. I wrote a speech in 1992, quality workforce in the year 2000. I was a gangbanging, drug dealing, black young man. But she saw something in me, right, that others did not see. And I went on to win third place out of the state of Illinois. And she told me that because of the color of my skin, I didn't win first place. I still believe that to this day. But what happened was, I talked about the small loss to win big later on. I just talked about that earlier. While I got third place at that time, what she did by telling me that I could speak, by making me do that, I became something more than I could have ever been, right? And that brings me to a story that I tell a lot. And it's about a man who once hustled pens and pencils in a Chicago subway. And so he would have an old Hills Brothers coffee can, and he had pens and pencils that he had found on the ground. And what he'd do is sit there, and people would get on the L train in the subway, and they drop quarters and dimes and nickels, sometimes $1 or $2, and they hastily get on to the train. He did the same one day, and just as he was getting on the train, he stepped back. He stepped back and walked over to that man that had those pencils and pens. He said, listen, he said, I'm a businessman, and you are a businessman also. He says that you have a product, and it's fairly priced. He said, in my haste, I failed to take a pencil. About a year or two down the line, he's at Willis Tower, which was Sears Towers at the time. And this man is holding a conference, and he's an entrepreneur. And at the break of one of these sessions, he goes to the back of the room. A man walks up to him, neatly dressed, clean shaven. He says, you might not remember me, but I remember you. Until you told me that I was a businessman. I once hustled pencils and pens in the Chicago subway. And so what is the moral of that story? Sometimes people come because you tell them that they are, because they don't know it. You know, many of our youth today, they don't know that they are, you know, and they need individuals like myself. They need individuals like Wilbur. They need our black young women need individuals like yourself, Dawn, to tell them that they are, right? Not tell them that they are a rapper, and that's okay to be one, right? It's okay. But that's not what they all are. I am fascinated by many of the rappers that I listen to, not because of the powerful beats, but I love the words that come out of their mouths and how they're able to put that and their phonetic enunciation. And so what our young people don't know today is that when you're listening to these rappers, you're listening to highly intelligent people who understand how to put words together, right? Mm-hmm. And so You don't learn that by keeping a gun in your hand. And you don't learn that by selling drugs on the corner, right? You learn that by reading, right? By getting something more, by opening up your understanding to something more. Sorry about that, Wilbur. I think I was a little bit long-winded.
No, not at all.
No, please, you're speaking life into something or somebody. I want to go back though. We know that you spent some time in your youth selling drugs and gangbanging at a time when it was a lot. Forgive me for those of you who don't really understand the organization. When you were gangbanging, there were organizations, right? And so I guess my question for you is very, very transparently, did understanding the order and the organization, and for the lack of a better way to say it, the ethical tier and the structure of the gang, did that help you when you went to the Navy to understand that there's a boss and there's a way to get from being on right here from the corner to the boss? Was there any value? And I guess I'm asking the question because if you're speaking right now to a room of young brothers who are gangbanging, I don't know that they're doing it like they did when we were young. They're kind of just wild, if you ask me. But would you give them a parallel to what they're doing and how they can use that in a different space?
Powerful. It's funny that you asked that. My mind went back to, I'll be very frank, my mind went back to teenage years when we would be in meetings, right? And without going into a lot of detail, there was organization, right? And structure and how we would have those sessions. But what I remember more than anything is the individuals that would be speaking, right? Born leaders. You could see that in them. And when you talk about the hierarchy and how things were set up, they don't have that now, right? But I will tell you, when I got to the military, I did have a sense of understanding of hierarchy. And also because my father was a minister, right? So I grew up with hierarchy. I grew up understanding order, right? And they had that in the gangs. You had it back then. Now you don't have any of that, period, which makes it even more dangerous, which makes it even more of something our youth should not be in, right? Period. But yes, the hierarchy helped me at the time. It did.
I just wanted to highlight that because I think that I'm queen of the judgers, but I think that it's important that we embrace where they feel like they have to be, some to be a part of a family, some because they don't have any direction, but that doesn't have to be the end. That little bit of experience with that structure can translate to, I mean, you lived in Avalon Park. It wasn't easy. You crossed some streets where and so I think understanding that there were rules, exactly, and when you learn that young, you're able to apply that in a different space with the help of people like yourself and Jermaine. And so I think that a lot of people look at successful businessmen, Black businessmen specifically, and say, "Oh, he don't care nothing about us. You know, he made it." Like not realizing that you once were in the same space.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right. And that's very true. And it's funny. It's also when you speak of advantage. I'm going to give the folks on here a little secret that I think that we don't embrace as African American men and women. Listen, our ability to navigate through problems and conflict is at an all-time high. You know, we know how to do that. Okay. Folks from other cultures at times, they don't know how to deal with a lot of conflict because they don't have to deal with it, right? One other thing that we have is we have a sense of humility. In leadership, you must have a sense of humility to have strength, you know, when you know how to do that. And so I had the gangs, right, being involved in the structure, like you said. but I also am an African American male, right? And so I know how to deal with conflictive situations because on the street, you deal with conflictive situations. You must learn how to talk. You must learn how to maneuver. Well, I would admonish youth today, young people, you can do the same thing in corporate America. You can do the same thing and make a lot of money and be very successful by knowing how to navigate through conflict, knowing how and when to be humble. It's the same thing. To your point, Don, you can come out of the games and get into corporate America and get your education and still be a boss. You can still shine and do your thing, you know, and still be a man or a woman, still floss and have all of that, but not have to look behind your back.
Yeah, I think that's important. You mentioned earlier about success, and I literally just had a conversation 2 days ago, and I just think I want people to better understand that success is subjective, right?
Absolutely.
Because you can have all the money and toys in the world, but if you're miserable, are you really successful? And so I think that it has stages, but really understanding true success is being able to, like you said, know that you have made your way through, that you've conquered the odds that you were born, that were already in place against you from hundreds of years ago. And then, Wilbert, you as well. I mean, you having had a learning disability, you having lived in still have, yeah, sorry.
Doesn't go away.
Look, you can't make me laugh when I'm not prepared to laugh. But yes, having a learning disability, but still finding a way based on those values that you learned in home, or even doing things that you shouldn't have necessarily done, but then applying them differently to be successful in somebody else's business and then ultimately your own business.
I think one of the key pieces related to that is beginning with the end in mind.
Okay.
And so one of the critical pieces that I like to talk to individuals about is, what is success look like for you? Let's begin with the end in mind. What does that look like? And then let's start figuring out how to get to that point. And that's one opportunity for each and every one of us to define success and success at stages. I mean, as Jermaine mentioned earlier, I mean, there's different stages that you get to, and once you get to that stage or to that mountain or to that precipice, then you say, hey, I want to get to the next one. And beginning with the end in mind is one of those first key things of figuring out what is success right now, what can you obtain, and then potentially go further on.
So, question for both of you. I'll ask you, and you can answer separately. If I was a young pumpkinhead kid, and you're speaking to a group of us, and and I probably could use some lotion because I'm ashy, and some Vaseline on my lips, and and you said, what does success look like to you? And I say, I want to, I don't even know the words in the song, but I say something like, I want to, how do they say, like, I want to have jewelry and cars and stuff? Say that in young speak, like young rap speak. How would they say? I want to, not balling, because that's played out, because we're old. What would they say? I want to drip. I want to have drip.
Yeah,
I want to, I want to have drip. I want chains. I want hoes. And that was my answer. What would you tell me?
Jermaine, you want to go first, or should I go?
I'll go.
All right.
My thing is this, and I'll answer the question. Success is an individual thing, right? Now, that's a part of success. That's just a piece of it. Clothes and all those things. That just comes with that, right? But real success, there are people with a lot of money, with a lot of clothes, with a lot of different types of cars, but they're miserable, right? And so I think it's important that there's a scripture in the Bible that says, wherefore I've learned to be content in whatsoever state that I am in. I think it's important for you, to Wilber's point, to understand that there's stages. You're going to get there, but be content in whatsoever state you're in. What do you mean by that? Not being complacent, but you're in school right now. You're getting your education, okay? You're in your freshman year of high school. What are your grades like? Are you getting A's and B's? Are you successful in that? Because guess what? If you're successful in that, all those things that you want, the cars, the drip, all that's coming. But in order to have all that, you got to do this first. And so you need to be successful here. And oh, by the way, while you're on your way to success, young lady, you know what I see in you? I see that you speak very well. I see that you read. And I see that things come out of your mouth that don't come out of other kids' mouth. You know what? I'm going to introduce this book to you because I'm excited about what I think this book will do for you. And I think we need to do more of that to our youth, right? I think we go into these other conversations. No, you don't just want that, you know, you want more. We have to show them the stages of how to get there and how all these things connect. And the deal is with today is you've got YouTube, you've got Facebook, you got all this coming at our kids. Back in our day, what you had was the GQ magazine. You looked at that and you saw something nice in that. Yeah. You had Word Up magazine. You had all these different things. You saw the pictures, but you weren't able to experience it unless you did something, right? Now, everything comes so quickly. So that's my answer.
That's good.
That is good. I don't even know if I have a better answer. But I would say one of the things I would say to the young men and women related to how I want to have drip, I want to be blinged out, whatever. You can get that, but let's break down how you get there.
Okay.
And so I start to walk them back on, similar to what JD mentioned, this is how you can get there. If you're 10 years old right now, the first thing that you can do is actually do well in school.
Okay.
If you're now in high school and you have a job and you're in school or you're playing a sport, the first thing that you can do is do well at whatever it is you're doing right now.
Okay.
And then build on that. If you're not doing well at what you're doing right now, it's hard to say I'm going to have all this stuff.
Sure.
Because those things that you build early on actually builds those character pieces inside to be able to get to those other levels.
That's the foundation.
Yeah, that's good.
And so for me, I try to get them to understand those were the things that I did. Sometimes I didn't know I was doing them. Mm-hmm. But those were the things that I did, and it helped me get to those next levels.
That's good stuff. I'm sure I got a promo or a sound bite out of this interview, baby. Look, that I might sell. I'm not giving neither one of y'all royalties. We're gonna take a break, come back with a joke. I'm gonna lighten the mood for a second, just because I'm notional. In my mind, I'm on the Eddie Murphy level of being a comedian, just so y'all know. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. JD might have to have a part 2. I'm thinking, because we're just halfway through. And
I know, and I still got more questions.
Yeah, and Reverend Dr. JD Love is over here. Go ahead, when we take a break real quick, go ahead and put your collar on. We'll be right back. It's the Book of Dawn.
WIFTBPM. This is Tori Muhammad, and we want you to tune in to the Tori Muhammad Show that airs here on What's In It for the Black People Media every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We talk and celebrate Black-owned businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and we talk to some of the best people in the food industry here in Chicago, Black chefs, Black restaurateurs. So make sure that you tune in to us every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's In It for the Black People Media.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out out chicagolegalnetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
You gotta know that it's over. I gave all of me. My heart is empty. You promised you would change. You said forever, you and me. Look at what you've done to me. I'm torn apart. I'm picking up the pieces you left to me. How selfish could you be? I gave you the world, and you still couldn't be deep. I forgave you when you cheated. I guess it didn't mean a thing. No more excuses. I packed your bags, they at the door. 'Cause I'm through with you. Can't believe the things you put me through. I gave you all my love and then this what you do. Everything you did about the comeback, you gon' get this karma. Karma, you end up losing everything you love. You about to get it. Every single do, from every single do. You gon' get this karma. Ain't no escaping that. And everything you did is coming back. 'Cause payback's a toll. Oh, you got to pay it back to me.
That payback in my James Brown voice, Donnell Jones. Payback is a dog. It's not a Maltese, okay? Because my baby son is a Maltese, and he's not a mean person.
Oh, good night.
Baby son, are you watching Winston? I wonder if he watches me when I'm
I
away.
don't think he can tune.
If I tuned it in, you think he would pay attention and he could hear my voice? I should do
I'm
that.
sure. I'm
Okay.
sure.
Because that's my baby son. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. If you're wondering, baby son is my 4-pound beast in Maltese who's at home right now holding he's a beast. He's a mon. You know, anyway. Well, welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. 9 a.m. weekdays. What's in it for the Black People Media? It's Let's Get Down to Business Milhouse Monday, the last Monday of every month. If you have not had an opportunity, have an idea, have a question, great ideas at Milhouse, MILHOUSCINC.com. Please remember to not let your computers autocorrect. Often they add the extra L, and it sometimes never gets to the destination. I will put it in the thread, but I have a joke of the day for you. And just in case y'all act like it's not funny, I came with two, because I know sometimes nephew, like I'm like a 199 to his 4. Okay, we're not half and half. You ready for a joke, Mr. Jermaine L. Davis? Okay, he said, go ahead till we have to do this part. Let's see. What's the difference between mechanical engineering and civil engineering? I figured you're both engineers, so I figured that would. What's the difference between mechanical engineering, a mechanical engineer, and a civil engineer? You're ready. What is the difference between a mechanical engineer or mechanical engineering and civil engineering?
Tell me.
Would you like to go first? No, he said, tell me. Nephew, do you want to take a stab at it?
No idea.
Mr. Davis, would you like to take a stab at it?
I won't take a stab because it's like serious to me. Like,
well,
tell me what it is.
I will tell you. Mechanical engineering builds the weapons, and civil engineering builds the targets. I knew he was going to play that, so I came prepared with another one.
Okay.
Okay. Why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water?
Why did the Clydesdale give the pony
a glass of water? Yeah. Yep. Why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water?
At home, corny jokes. Go ahead.
Why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water,
This
nephew?
is worse than Mac.
Because it ran laps.
No. Jermaine, why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water?
I don't know, but horses.
Because he was a little horse.
He was a little horse.
I get it.
See? That's good.
All right. Okay. This is worse than Mac.
Yeah, look, I'm going on tour. Anyway, we're going to get back down to business. Wilbur has some more questions for you. They like when I call you Wilbur because they're like, does she really call him Mr. Milhouse at home?
Yes,
I
she
said,
does.
I actually do. Yes, because that's who I met. I met Mr. Milhouse, and so it just never translated. But they say, could you call him Wilbur? I said, sure, I can call him Wilbur. Mr. Milhouse, you said you had some more questions for Jermaine.
Sure. Jermaine, when you were talking earlier, talking about your success, or I was talking about your success and moving through the ranks to become director, you talked about not having thin skin. Would you elaborate a little bit more about that? Because I think that's one of the critical pieces related to when you're in any corporate environment, especially a black man being in a mostly white male corporate environment, having thin skin as an African American can be a deterrent, can hold you back. So why don't you jump into that a little bit more?
Absolutely, and it's even more of an issue for black men, right? Because you struggle with, is this racism or am I being challenged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know where to put that because it's easy for you to go for the race, right, and not get the lesson out of what's going on, right? And so that thick skin, the way I got it, Wilbur, was I paid close attention to my surroundings, right? Meaning, it's something. It's funny you ask this, because it's something that I don't think any other culture of men have to deal with on a daily basis, right? Prime example, I was listening to this interview on YouTube with James Baldwin. And I forget the lady's name on there, but it's an old interview, right? Mm-hmm. And first time I saw James Baldwin stump, the lady in the interview, she says, "Why won't you lie to me?" And he says, "Well, I can't lie to you. You're my woman. You're this, you're that." She says, "No, but I want you to." He says, "Why?" She says, "Because when you go to work every day, you lie. You lie to that other person. You smile. You act like everything is okay. You tell them everything is okay, and you proceed and you keep going. Why can't you come home and lie to me? Meaning tell me you love me. Tell me you care for me." My thing is this. In corporate America, you have to understand as a black man how to navigate in the sense of keeping your pride, keeping your dignity, being a man, standing up where you need to stand up, but losing the emotional chip on your shoulder that will get you into trouble and get you to blow up, because that's what happens. And what do you mean by blow up, Jermaine? Are you saying, oh, this guy just went off at the job? It's not that. What it is I remember, and I'll be very open and honest and candid, I remember as a young man where I learned this. I learned this with my dad. He was working for Greyhound at the time, and it was a great job. But what happened was he didn't like the shift that they had given him, right? They had given him a shift of really because he was a rookie. That's what it was. Now, the other individual that did not have that shift was a man of another color, right? Instead of my father putting that in the right place and saying that, hey, I'm the rookie. I haven't been here. I have to earn my way. He took it as racism. He left that job, right? So my thing is sometimes we as African-American men, we take that chip on our shoulder, right? And to your point, that thick skin becomes very thin. And we think we're standing up, because we stood up and we got with someone on the job, but really you just show that you don't have thick skin, right? Because the whole thing is it's about the long game. A championship, we just dealt with March Madness, right? A championship is not won in the regular season. It is won at the championship. And a lot of times we need to get to the championship, but we don't have the skin, to your point, where to get to the championship, to be able to sit at the table, to be able to help make decisions, to be able to influence policy. We never get there because we don't have the tough skin. And I wanted to say something about this. I believe that experiences create beliefs. Beliefs create actions. Actions create the results that we get, right? And so it is important for us to create the right experiences for ourselves and for our children and those that come behind us. You're a businessman, Wilbur, right? You created experiences so you can create certain beliefs for your children, so they think about education in a different way, right? It's important that we as men, black men, we create a different experience for our young male children, our young male men. Meaning, when something happens on the job, you don't come home and say, I left the job because, they were talking to me like this. Because you know what that equates into? A man 46 years old, like myself. I remember that. And that happened when I was 12 years old. But I still remember that situation. And I know that my father did not do what he was supposed to do at that juncture. Doesn't make him a bad man. What it makes him is a man that was dealing with this situation at that time. And I got the lesson. I learned from that. But you're right. The thick skin, you got to have it. You got to know when to hold. You got to know when to fold. Everything is not a fight. Everybody is not against you. And because we are oftentimes the only one in the room, we have to shift our paradigm and go left. What do you mean by that, Jermaine? I mean, take advantage of that. I take advantage of being the only one in the room. Why? Because I can be unique. I can be my authentic self. That's all.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So I'm going to, for the sake of making certain that this conversation, because I think it's a phenomenal a conversation that we need to take to another level of sharing with people that are in business, people that aren't in business, fathers and sons. What would you say then, either or both of you, to a child who doesn't have the presence, the immediate presence at home of a man such as yourself or Mr. Davis? How do you? It sounds good in theory, and I receive it and I fully understand it. But when you have a child whose life experiences, or even an adult man whose life experiences has been nothing but a foot on his neck, not because of his own fault, because systematically he's been oppressed, how do you help get through to that man or young boy to make him understand there is something on the other side of that?
I know one of the things that I, as a young man growing up with my single mom and not having a male figure in the household, I looked to other men in various levels to fulfill that quest to understand what is a man, what is a businessman, what is a father, all of those things. So I had Mr. Branch, which was my best friend's father, who was my role model. He drove a bus for a living. And so he wasn't super wealthy, but every day he went to work. Mm-hmm. Every day he came home. Every day he took care of his kids. He took me to Boy Scouts like he took his sons to Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. I learned fatherhood and being a man from Mr. Branch. I learned business and seeking to want to go into business because I saw my uncle who worked at IBM back in the 70s, and that was my ideal of, okay, he has this and this and this, and he was able to do all of those things and go on trips to Maui and this and that. And I was like, I like that. That's something that I want to do. I also saw the gangbangers and the drug dealers on my street, in my block, in my neighborhood, and I knew that life as well. But I figured it's much easier to go this way than that way.
Okay.
Jermaine, did you want to answer that question that Dawn posed?
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. I'm gonna share something with you all. Listen, it is said that, again, people perish because they don't have vision. And what is a vision? A vision is a dream. And Herder said that if you look at a man the way that he is, you only make him worse. But if you look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. What I will say is, but nobody ever told me growing up, and everything Wilbur just said is dynamic and it's true. And you talk about how what about that individual that just doesn't have that? Here's what we have. All of us have this. We have dreams. And one must not be afraid to continue to dream, because a dream can take you out of any situation that you're in, right? Some folks that may be on today, they don't have a father. They haven't seen one. They may never see one. Some of them may be in their 40s and still have that piece that's missing. But what you do have, you have a dream, right? And so if you embrace your dreams in spite of whatever is going on around you, I said, Goethe said that if you look at a man the way that he is, you only make him worse. But Goethe also said that if you look at a problem the way that it is, you only make it worse. But if you look at it as if it were what it could be, then it's going to become what it should be. So a lot of times in those moments where you can't find that role model, you can't find that black woman or that strong black male or that businessman that you can see, dream. Those same YouTubes and FaceTubes that you go to see who's twerking and see who's got the latest drip on, right? You can go gather so many other things, because just like they get that off of YouTube and Facebook, I get so many other things off of Facebook and YouTube. So what I'm saying is dream, become a dreamer. Because listen, at the end of the day, no matter what I tell you, no matter what the drug dealer on the street tell you, no matter what, it starts internally, you know? So I can't control what goes on around me, right? But I can control what goes on within me. And if I'm able to dream, you can't take anything away from me. Why did Nelson Mandela spend all that time in prison and was able to come out? Because he dreamed. He was never there mentally. And sometimes you have to dream yourself out of your situation.
I know one of the other examples, I mean, a lot of us will identify with, because we all grew up watching this show, was The Cosby Show, right?
Ooh,
Seeing a black family, right?
Yeah.
Seeing a mother and a father, one a doctor, one a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, those were some of the images I remember gravitating towards and saying, man, that's special. That's something that I want. Actually, I think I told you this. Because of The Cosby Show was the reason I figured out that I was dyslexic.
Oh, I
Because
think
of
you
your boy.
did. You
Because
did.
of your boy, Mel.
Right.
Or as they call him on the show, Theo. Before I knew him, I was just like, yeah, Theo. He the reason I figured out I was dyslexic. And I was like, wow. Because remember one of the shows. Have you ever watched The Cosby Show?
Yeah,
but probably
you didn't see that episode.
They were. He's a little younger.
I've seen it. I can't say I watched it. I've seen it.
He's seen it
You
on
remember
Nick
that one, right,
on a flashback. But I remember
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, but so we see things, and so I think to what JD is talking about, or Jermaine, I'm sorry, Jermaine. I mean, to what Jermaine is saying, it's very real if you decide to dream, if you decide to think a bit out of the box and say, okay, I know my surroundings, but I don't have to stay in this. And again, being able to see it, we know all of these kinds of things. That's why we try and get to the youth and at least let them see, touch. That's why whenever I'm asked to go and speak and do things, I'm always there, because they have to see it, they have to hear it, they have to see people, and they have to ask questions of how much your car costs, how much you make, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because if you can't see it, you have to see it to be it. You know, it has to be tangible for them. Let me ask both of you this. Can you share with the importance of having the courage to keep going, even for you, Mr. Milhouse? When you decided, hey, I can and I want to open my own because I'm working for this company and I know all this and I can do this. And Jermaine, for you, as you're rising from that first interview with your son on your lap to senior to director, having courage during failure. How many of us hit that first bump and they're like, yeah, I'm actually going to go back to the good job where I can get the check.
Man.
Tell us about courage in failure.
Man, go for it, JD. I mean, a lot of failures, though.
Yeah, I think, and Will probably, he's a big brother to me. But what I will say is that, listen, success is all about failure. And that's what people don't understand. You fail your way to success because you're trying new things. And so the more things you try, you're not going to win at it all the time, So you keep pushing. It's kind of the lesson, we're running a conversation, man. I think we had this conversation maybe 8 years ago. And I said, listen, I'm being challenged in the corporate sector more than I ever have before. And he says, well, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be challenged. He says, every 2 years, you should be going somewhere else. You should be doing something different. You should be challenging yourself with something big. I listened to that, and although he sounded crazy, it made a little sense, right? And I grasped it, and here it is 8 years from there where I am. And constantly, instead of running from that, I'm looking for the challenges every 2 years. I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for something new and improved. So I think it's all about challenging yourself constantly and not being afraid to fail. Not accepting failure, but you can't be afraid of it. Because if you're afraid to take the shot, you'll never take it.
There we go. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Pushing myself into uncharted territories is one of the statements that I have in my mission statement, my personal mission statement. So to that accord, what JD is talking about, and to that always looking not to drown, but to learn how to swim in various different things is just part of me. That's why we try so many different things in our corporations and all of the different things. I mean, that's what got me in Nigeria.
I know that story.
It's trying new things and sticking it out. I mean, part of success is it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to have patience, and you have to continue to work the plan and continue to stay the course. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, for those that it did, fantastic. But I think part of being able to handle success is going through all of those iterations. Mm-hmm. It almost becomes anticlimactic.
Okay.
It almost becomes, okay, all right, I made it. That's good. But then once you get there, you're starting to think about taking it to the next level and tooling up and figuring out how do you get those things in place.
Mr. Milhouse, a question was posed for you. How do you find the courage to leave a good, secure job and jump out there on your own with no idea what's on the other side?
Yeah, that was definitely a very difficult decision. I think part of my DNA, though, was always to have my own, and that was because of my mother and because of some of my other family members who were entrepreneurs. It was kind of built inside of there. Okay. I didn't really know it until when I started to look back, I said that was basically an entrepreneurial spirit since I was in high school, creating lawn boys and going around cutting everybody's lawn, putting out flyers. I mean, I ran it like a business, and I didn't think about it, but I did. But I think that was part of my DNA.
Okay.
So once I got enough skill set, learning from various different places, I said, I think I can take this and do it. And I tried it once with a partner. That didn't go so well. And then I went back and did it again on my own.
Okay.
And so, but when I did leave, you know, I failed. I mean, I was delivering pizza at night. So, I mean, that's not a success. You're putting on your suit and tie during the day, and you're delivering pizza at night. Crying behind the wheel of my 626. That didn't
come through, Mazda.
That wasn't rosy. That wasn't success at that time. That went from a 6-figure job to literally delivering pizza, figuring out how to make money, teaching my kids how to drive. But staying the course was part of that evolution, learning that you have to do certain things and really understanding the business through all of that was part of the grind, which partly makes a lot of this kind of typical.
Okay. Nephew,
got a question.
You do. Yep.
So how do you, for someone, say someone has their business plan figured out, like you said, they're ready to step into this uncharted territory. They've developed the skill set. They know what they want to do. They have their plan. They can envision where they want to be and all of this, but they don't necessarily have the financial ability to transfer. Say they're living check to check, you know, and they don't really have the. How do they transfer this time and energy and money that into independent business when you're working, you know, check to check, and you're at this stable. You have this stable income, but not enough to just leave it.
Well, there's several different ways you can go into business. You can go into business with your own finances and you supply those finances, or you can go and get individuals to invest in your ideas and give up some ownership to those individuals to basically be able to have that business. You would need to also go and vet some of those things with other individuals to say, hey, what's missing in my business plan, or what else should I be thinking about, while all at the same time trying to save money, even if it's $10 a week or $100 a week, whatever it is, to be able to start doing portions of what you may have, maybe a very big idea, which takes lots of capital, but you got to start putting some dollars away to invest in yourself.
So you don't leave right away. You transition.
Exactly. You have a plan. It has to be part of your plan. Okay, in 2 years, I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to save this amount of money in that amount of time and get investors or not. That's part of your plan. And that has to be part of your business plan, because your business plan encompasses how you get off the ground and how you start flying.
We're going to take a break, but nephew, it looks like. Go ahead, JD. I'm sorry, Jermaine. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, and where we're saying some rock solid things, the thing that people have to have in order to get what Wilbur has and what he was able to deliver the pizzas and do what he did and leave the job, you got to have a core foundation of being selfish to yourself, that no matter what, you're going to keep pushing for this goal, because none of it is cookie cutter. Every one of them is going to come different.
Yep.
So Wilbur can give you the examples, but the core of it is you got to want it for yourself, right? Because it's going to come in all different ways. It's like this for everybody. You know, you're leaving a job, you know, you have a steady income. It's a challenge, you know. So you better have that core of selfishness, of pushing forward no matter what, whenever these things come your way, because there's going to be roadblocks all along the way. You know?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jermaine. So, nephew, you should email great ideas at Milhouse. Yeah, INC, I'm thinking. He's super smart. But whatever he does with you, can you just let me make sure
I got the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Right. Become prepared. Listen, when we come back from the break, both of you mentioned, you and Jermaine mentioned some words that I want to make certain that we convey. And part of that is the other piece. Both of you have said without saying there's a sacrifice that is necessary. And there's a sacrifice to you as men and businessmen, but there's also a sacrifice to family with the distance that working hard, long hours put you from family. So I want to bring the ladies in on this one because I am a lady and you have sacrificed time with your family to be in Nigeria for an undetermined amount of time, buying one ways because you didn't really know what that time looked like coming back. Jermaine obviously has children and has to be away from them to be able to continue to rise. So I want to talk about sacrifice and the family for yourselves and your family. And what you both said that you didn't say is we ask a lot of questions, but you just have to start somewhere. You just have to make a decision to start. Yep. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and finish up this conversation, part one, I'm thinking, because
we got to talk about Jermaine with his public speaking because we haven't hit that as well.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. It's the Book of Dawn.
WIFTBP.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Yeah. Ooh.
I miss your kiss.
Oh, your kiss is one of a kind. It feels so nice. Girl, you do it right.
I miss.
Ooh. Oh, girl, you don't go too fast. You take your time. Just how I
miss.
Hey. Oh, you kiss it, then I'm drifting off your love. Keeps me floating, girl.
I miss.
Oh, and ooh, it feels so good. I'm gonna come down. Girl, I'm missing that love. Come on. Ooh, babe, I'm missing all those kisses. Baby, bring those lips to me. Oh, babe, I'm missing all those kisses. Baby, bring those lips to me. Come on. Oh, when you're not around, girl, I'm tweaking. I swear I be hearing things. Oh, yeah. Oh, and if I cannot have you, girl, I'm fiending. Oh, that's such a talent you bring. Yeah. Oh, and day is too long. If I can hold you in my arms, if I can find a real good love. Ooh, that kiss is a drug to me. Baby, your kiss is all I need. Come on. Ooh, it feels so good, baby.
Welcome back. You are tuned. Oh, here, I'll throw you some kisses. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn, right here broadcasting from the What's in It for the Black People Media, 9 a.m. weekdays. Hey, listen, it's still National Women's Month, and so I have a Black History fact for you. And I decided these last 3 days I'm going to rock with our own, right? I've been telling you about people that you never heard of. I'm going to tell you about some you have heard of. I'm going to repeat it again, though. Today, our Black History Woman fact is about our very own Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton Eccles, the first Black woman and Black woman Lieutenant Governor in the state of Illinois. There were 3 Lieutenant Governors before her. She is the first Black woman Lieutenant Governor. And actually, there's only 4 in the country. She happens to be from Chicago. Prior to that, she held a post as a state rep. She worked her way into the game. I call her serendipity because our meeting was very serendipitous. That's my girl. She loves house music. She is a true public servant. She is available. I don't care if you run into her on the street. I don't care if you text her. You can email her. She actually is a live human on the other side of that. She is the proud mother. Fantastic person. And definitely you and her share a love for house music.
Absolutely.
We've done that in our house together. She is a criminal justice advocate, and she is only the 4th Black in U.S. history to accomplish being lieutenant governor. Ironically, she is the great-grandchild of a slave, and so working for equity and justice really are in her DNA. So shouts out to my friend and y'all's lieutenant governor, mine too, Juliana Stratton Eccles. We salute you. It's Black History Month, and that's our woman fact for the day. Gentlemen, if you would please,
She's married to a great guy, too.
She is married to a super cool, super chill. He's so chill. Yeah. I'm like, can I have some of that? Because I'm always hyper. Jermaine, tell us about sacrificing for legacy.
I'll start by saying this. No one understands the plight of a man better than that man himself. Sometimes you just have to understand that, right? And I have a family, and my career has taken me away from my family at times that I did not want to be, right? When I think about those times, and I don't like them all the time, but when I think about them, I think about that kid, that male that does not have a father at all. You know, I think about Wilbur, right, who didn't have a father at home. His mother raised him, and when I think about those things, I says, well, I could be an absent father totally out of their lives, and I'm not. I'm in their lives, you know, and so what I do is when you say sacrifice for your legacy, what that means to me is being proud of who you are, you know, being proud of not only being a Black man, not only being a man that has means, but really understanding that you have nothing without those people, that family, your children, your wife, that strong Black woman, through the good and through the bad, you know, that's there with you. That's what makes you sacrifice, right? And constantly being on the run from something. I did a speech and spoke at I think it was Europe, and it was entitled Run. And I started off saying that everybody is on the run from something. What do you mean by that? First of all, run to me means to remember, to understand, and never look back, right? And so always keep moving. And what am I on the run from? Understand what you're on the run from. I'm on the run from poverty. I know what it's like to be in poverty. I know what it's like to turn the lights on and roaches scatter, right? And they literally look like they're moving on the sink. I know what that is like. And so I'm on the run from poverty. And so the sacrifice for a legacy is for all of that. I don't want poverty for my family. I want better education for my children. I want better opportunities. And so what does that do? That aligns me with my family. That aligns me with the direction that I want to take my family in, because I'm nothing without my family, right? So it's not just about me being successful, it's about everybody being successful. And I think if you keep yourself as a Black man, if you keep yourself in that order, I think you'll be fine. Because the moment you lose that, and you lose the concept of taking care of your family, doing those things that you need to do for them, making sure they have an education, these different things, you begin to lose yourself as a man, you know. So that's just my perception of it.
Wilbur, how about you? You make great sacrifices for legacy. Mm-hmm. Share with us how that your perception of, or your reality of sacrificing for legacy?
I don't know totally how to answer the question, only because my family is so involved in what I do and understanding of the fact that what we're up to, it's not totally a sacrifice. I mean, I love what I do. I mean, so I live what I do. I'm talking about it all the time. And generally, part of the conversations we have, the conversations I have with my kids, conversations that get involved is about those things. But maybe earlier on, there were some sacrifices, especially when I needed to be there super long hours and not being able to help do the homework and not being able to go pick up or go to a game here and there, or I'm traveling. Those kind of sacrifices definitely occurred, while at the same time I'm pushing for those things. I can't really answer it totally just from the standpoint of, legacy is everything for me, and building a legacy and creating generational wealth. So I guess today try to get all of the kids to understand that more and understand what we're up to. And it's starting to click for them as to how they can help contribute to make those things happen. It's not just, okay, we got this one thing. If it blows up, great. If it doesn't do well, oh well. This is our life, and this is what we're creating to be able to not only do well for ourselves, but also influence a country, influence our entire neighborhood, be that beacon of light to, help individuals get education, because that's one of the critical pieces that I think is the difference maker, right? It's, I don't know.
No, I understand that.
Thing, Dawn, I was going to say the other thing, Dawn, about sacrificing for legacy, and we're almost touched on it. But the other thing is listen, it's not being afraid to go indoors and open them up when you're the only one, right? How many times, Wilbur, were you the only one in the room, the only one that went into that door? And I'm not sure if folks know how that feels, but when you're in a room and you're the only black male in that room, and you're in there with a lot of firepower and understanding corporate America, get this, folks, as a black man or a black woman, you have to come with more than what everybody else has, right? And so you're on the pedestal and you're up for show, but believe you me, you got to get it right? And it's a sacrifice, So Wilbur is light on what he goes light on what he's done, but listen, he's been into a lot of areas where nobody was there, and you're the only room, you're the only one in the room. And what happens is we go into survival mode as black men when we go into those rooms. That's why he's saying that, listen, I don't know how to answer that question, because we live like this constantly. We're constantly in that mode where we're in positions where we're sacrificing. We're the only one in the room. We've opened the door. We're sitting here. We live like that all the time. And I think it's important that you understand that your whole journey in something like this will be full of sacrifices, constant sacrifices, constant.
I guess that would lead to something that before we have to leave, you wanted to talk to Jermaine about, and that is his motivational speaking.
Yeah, one of the key pieces that we haven't hit on, Jermaine, was you got into being a director, you achieved certain things, and then along the way, you've always been involved in doing public speaking and motivational speaking, where you now have that as another piece of the toolbox that you go and do. I won't call it a business. I'm not sure if you do that as a business or if you just do that philanthropically, but why don't you talk about that a little bit and share some of those things? And then I want you to give us a little bit of a taste. We probably only got about 5 more minutes left, but of some of those things, if you would.
Okay. Yeah, so I got into speaking really, I told you my father was a minister, okay? And so I watched him. I watched a lot of other folks speak. I've been around a lot of that, so I was around public speaking all my life. Um, I got into it really, I started with church, and then I just started branching myself out. I would send bios and things to, I started at the school I went to, the high school I went to, I'd send bios anywhere, right? I put myself, and that's another thing about success. You got to put yourself in a position put yourself in a position to be embarrassed, to be on the spot. And so I started putting myself on the spot, and I started getting speaking engagements. But I've spoken in Cook County jails, a lot of drug rehabilitation centers, really all over, the East Coast, spoken on the West Coast, definitely in the Midwest. And I'll tell you, what speaking does for me is therapy. It's therapeutic. I love to converse with people. I love to tell people and show people their potential, right? And you asked for a little excerpt of really motivation, right? And I'd say this. I say that, listen, life is really, it's not about being in a position where everything is fair all the time, right? In fact, everything that you go for in life, I was watching some games last night, and I'm a basketball person. I like to watch basketball. And a guy gets a foul, right? He gets upset about that foul. He says it's not fair. He's looking at the referee. And you're getting emotional as someone watching the game, watching your favorite player. But the deal is that, listen, when he leaves the court, he got his check, right? He was emotional. He understands that it's going to be unfair sometimes. And I think as African-American men, African-American women, as African-American in general, we understand that it is unfair, but what are we going to do about it? And how do we tackle that? Let's start leveraging, things like this, leveraging avenues and venues like this, whereas we are talking less about the latest drip, right? But we're talking about how to get to the drip, right?
Yeah.
But see, when you get to the drip, the real drip, and it's dripping for real, you don't talk about it. You just are.
Yeah.
Just are.
Yeah.
Right? And so the deal today is get to the just are, right? And take the journey and enjoy the journey and know that the journey is full of a lot of work. It's full of a lot of chess. It's full of trials. I was telling my son the other day, and we were just able to, we put him in a private school. He's playing basketball, and he was having a tough time dealing with the rigorous schedule. And what I told him was this: listen, nothing that anybody has ever done, and they've gotten to a reasonable, a meaningful amount of success, has ever been done without hard work and dedication. Even if someone gave someone an opportunity, guess what? They worked hard to get to that, to give them that opportunity. And so understand that, but the most rewarding part of being a successful African-American male, Wilbur, is that you earned it. Nobody can take it away from you. And so what I would admonish everyone on this platform to do is earn it yourself, so no one can take it away from you. And so no one can remove your goals, your dreams, your objectives from you, so that you can continue to become. And I think that most of us, as African Americans, and I'm speaking specifically to my people, I think we start out with a lot of momentum. We start out running really fast. Then we hit that bump. What's that bump, Jermaine? Somebody tell us that we came, right? And when we stop, we give up. What I'm telling you is that, listen, just when it's getting hard, And when you're hitting that major bump, if you just get over that bump and keep pushing, and the power of not stopping no matter how slow you get, to your point being patient, Wilbur, if you keep pushing, you're going to get to the drip. And when that drip comes, it's more than a drip. It's a flow.
Jermaine, look, I was about to say make it rain. It's not a drip, it's a rain. But listen, we're going to have him on a part 2 so we can talk a little bit more about that, because I'm going to give you a small version, because in a second, nephew's going to start cutting mics off. But hold on. Jermaine, you said I got to see if you're really shy. I know you speak very well. You speak articulately. Director, sir, senior executive. Do you eat Eatos or gyros?
Gyro.
Did you go to kindergarten or kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Do you drive on the freeway or the expressway?
I drive.
How many pennies make a dime?
How many pennies make a dime? 10.
Of course they do, Chicagoan. 10, T-I-N. And JD, Jermaine, I'm sorry. What's your song? What's the song that makes the director turn into the homie from that Donuts off 111th?
Oh, she gonna do it to me. My song?
Yeah.
The latest one?
Oh yeah, I'll take that one.
I like Pop Smoke.
There you go.
She want yeah, he's dope. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Listen, Jermaine L. Davis, I will put your email in this thread. I'm feeling like I might be your agent, because you're getting bookings right here, and I'm gonna make sure that we keep the wealth going. But people are asking for both of you actually to do some speaking in some schools, so I'll make sure I communicate their information to that Great Ideas email. So that you guys can continue to sow into the neighborhood. Here's 2 things. If you ever feel nervous about telling your friend good news, then don't tell them. Get a new friend, okay? Because you should be able to tell your friend good news if it's really your friend, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is discipline begins with small things done daily. I think that just summarizes everything that we talked about today. Discipline begins with small things done daily. Do it every day. Thank you for tuning in and spending a little time with me. Remember to lead with love. Great ideas at milhouseinc.com. Use your voice to be a positive impact. Sacrifice. Do something that will do nothing for you but something for somebody else. Tune in tomorrow for Tiabe, the next page in the book of Dawn. Thank you, Jermaine Davis, for your time this morning. Thanks, and for your service to the world and to our community. I don't care if we lost yesterday. I'm going to forever say peace and roll tide roll.
WIFTD PM.
This ain't a regular love play. It's that waking out your sleep with me massaging your feet. Yeah. It's that anything you want, I'm only here to please you. Baby, you're in my command. Your kiss sends me a shot of dopamine. Never had an interest in love until I met you, and I don't know if it's real or is it just a phase I'll go through, but I feel that it's true.